This is 7 News, the voice of the coast.
Tonight, a timely reminder for beachgoers ahead of summer. Retired NRL stars share an important message in Taree.
I'm Daniel Gibson. Later on this news hour, calls for calm after forever chemicals were detected in our water supply. And one of Australia's best cyclists now to race under British colours.
7 News begins now.
Good evening. It's been a tragic year on the state's beaches, with a new report into drownings showing nearly half happened on the coast. It's now prompting fresh warnings from Surf Lifesaving about water safety, with summer just around the corner.
Living on the coast is a blessing, with beaches right on our doorstep. But the ocean is becoming more and more dangerous to visitors. The latest National Drowning Report has revealed nearly half of the state's drowning deaths occurred in the coastal zone, well above the 10-year average.
More of those people that are going to the coast can't swim. More of those people that are going to the coast can't identify coastal hazards such as rips.
The summer heat, as always, causing plenty of problems for our lifesavers, with tourists and locals attempting to escape the popular spots.
We have seen a large increase in people swimming, obviously, at unpatrolled beaches due to people either wanting to get away from the crowds.
The efforts of these volunteers in the last 12 months have kept many out of trouble.
They're down here doing hundreds and thousands of rescues a year, which could increase those numbers a lot if they weren't here.
And new measures are already being implemented to increase safety. These include 11 emergency response beacons at northern beaches, which can be activated at a push of a button and connect directly to a surf lifesaving duty officer. Also, upgraded drones that can fly longer and be remotely controlled from anywhere in the state.
We can get more eyes in the sky, we can be alerted to anything that may be happening, and we can get down there quicker.
Authorities say the key message remains the same. Swim between the red and yellow flags, and always during patrol hours.
We need to teach people about the hazards. More importantly, we need to teach them what to do if they do get into trouble.
Tom Desborough, 7 News.
The auntie of the youngest Bowraville murder victim has lashed out at a Senate inquiry into missing and murdered Aboriginal children and women. She's expressing doubt the recommendations will actually result in an overhaul of the missing and murdered Aboriginal children and women. She's expressing doubt the recommendations will actually result in an overhaul of the justice system.
10 recommendations for change in law enforcement have been put forward by a National Senate inquiry. The families of the Bowraville murder victims asked to revisit the life-shattering loss of 3 children 34 years ago.
The whole experience of the investigation and the justice system and how the families were treated.
The family determined their life-devouring fight for justice is never repeated. Police initially ignoring a family's cry for help after 4-year-old Evelyn Greenup went missing from her bed in 1990.
The police said to me, well, what do you want me to do about it? I'm just about to knock off.
Flawed initial investigations undermining the case.
You know, no investigation, no visiting the household to get any forensics or anything like that. Nothing was done.
The investigation finally gaining traction under former detective Gary Jubilant, but repeated calls for a retrial have been denied. The family unconvinced the First Nations inquiry into murdered and missing women and children will result in any real change, especially for perpetrators of domestic violence.
They're coming out homeless, they've got no homes, they're coming out with no funds, they're coming out back to the drug and alcohol. They're putting them back in the same situation, so the vicious cycle is happening again.
New calls for grassroots funding for Aboriginal corporations to address the revolving door on the prison system. Also for victims and communities to refuse to accept abusive behaviours as normal.
It's not all right to bully someone, to push someone, to hit someone.
Liz Penny, 7 News.
Residents in Wingham have suffered major phone and internet outages. It's also left many businesses unable to operate at full capacity. Hannah Hardup joins us live now. And Hannah, Telstra has confirmed this is part of a maintenance upgrade.
Nick, Nick, while residents are currently suffering major outages, these upgrades are expected to deliver 4 and 5G coverage to the town for the very first time. That being said, local businesses have still been severely impacted. Since Saturday, many have been unable to use EFTPOS machines or send texts, affecting revenue. They say they're thankful for customer support during this time.
Probably fortunate that we're in a small town where we know our customers quite well, and it's a credit to them. They've been really good.
In a statement, Telstra have said that while there's never a good time to complete these upgrades, they're assuring the community that once complete, it'll be a better experience. And those are expected to be complete by tomorrow.
Okay, thanks for the update, Hannah. Well, the first ever New South Wales parliamentary inquiry into the legalisation of cannabis has now arrived in Lismore. Today's hearing was a chance for MPs to hear how the current laws are operating right across the state. Committee Chair Jeremy says cannabis prohibition isn't working and it's time for reform. He's proposed legalising 6 plants per household. The committee will visit a medical cannabis growing facility in Rouse tomorrow. Young dolphins died after being trapped in a net off of Foster Beach. Orca volunteers are urging the public to call the hotline during any emergency, with quick reporting the best way to save marine life in trouble.
Reflecting on a devastating outcome.
I had a bit of a hard time to fall asleep last night, especially because it was a very young dolphin.
Foster's orca volunteers were called to Tuncurry Rock Pool late yesterday to find a young dolphin tangled in netting. In a swift response, they'd hoped to perform a rescue, but an on-land and in-water assessment confirmed it was sadly too late. The pair untangled the dolphin and said goodbye this morning.
We managed to take this dolphin out to a spot at Booty Booty National Park with Parks and Wildlife, where it received a burial and ceremony this morning.
Winter is orca's busiest season. They're currently monitoring hundreds of aquatic species right across the coast, all in good health, including this dolphin that was spotted in Port Macquarie last month. Teams are also hoping to free an entangled whale tomorrow that's just past Bluey's Beach. The public is urged to contact Orca if they spot a marine mammal in distress. Prompt reporting can ensure these organisations can quickly monitor and respond when necessary. The Foster team will now work with Council to discuss options about increasing signage to help during wildlife emergencies.
Something so simple that just says, if you see a dolphin or a whale in distress, who do you contact? Contact Orca.
Hannah Hartup, 7 News.
Well, there's just over 4 weeks until the local government elections and voters need to plan ahead. Nearly 200,000 people have already applied to postal vote in New South Wales, with many urged to make their vote count.
The final Kempsey Shire Council meeting before the upcoming election.
Thank you, everyone. Welcome back.
Outgoing Mayor Leo Hallville chairing proceedings for the very last time.
As all of my 52 meetings I've chaired, it's a great honour to be in charge of the meeting and getting people to come to democratic decisions.
In his 8 years as either councillor or mayor, Hallville has had many highlights, like sports infrastructure, including the South West Rocks High Performance Centre, the sewerage scheme and the replacement of 56 bridges. Now that he has stepped aside, he's encouraging voters to make their vote count.
It's very important in our democracy to have informed voters. We just don't have extremes in Australia. Everyone should be there voting, and they should think about the candidates and what they know of the candidates.
Already thousands of voters have applied to postal vote ahead of the September 14th election.
As of today, we're almost at 200,000 applications across New South Wales. And even in the Port Macquarie area, almost 2,500 applications have been made.
It's important now to have a look at your voting options. Postal vote applications close on the 9th of September.
People must complete their postal vote and their ballot paper by 6 p.m. on election day. And then we have until the 27th of September to get those packs back to the New South Wales Electoral Commission.
Samantha Crowe, 7 News.
Former NRL stars are speaking out against gendered abuse. They're visiting schools and educating students in the Manning about how to have healthy relationships.
Alan Tongue and Joseph Paulo are two of the game's greats. Today they put the footy down to tackle domestic and family violence.
Everybody has a role to play. You might be part of the problem, but everybody in the room is part of the solution.
The Voices Against Violence program is run in collaboration with New South Wales Police and the NRL. They aim to use the game and players' popularity to engage young kids, discussing the foundations of healthy relationships and respect.
If we can get it right whilst these people are young, they bring those values and life behaviours into their adult years.
Senior students at Mid-Coast Christian College took on the challenge, participating in team-building drills, taking on the message.
Communication, being positive to one another, and just asking if everyone's okay.
So talking about verbal and financial and mental abuse, which are all very valid and dangerous forms of abuse, is very important.
Violence against women is a deeply entrenched issue here in Australia. While 1 in 4 women have experienced physical violence by an intimate partner, 1 in 6 have experienced stalking since the age of 15.
Whilst ever we've got one incident of domestic and family violence, we've got a problem.
Hannah Hartup, 7 News.
Well, Kirsty joins us now for a look at today's conditions right up the coast. And Kirsty, a bit windy out there for some of us today.
Yes, we did have some breezy conditions. Nick, hello to you and good evening, everybody. Our Tuesday started with a little bit of scattered cloud around, but we started to see clearer skies across this morning, and that was the same time as those winds picked up. Northeasterly gusts up to 35 kilometres an hour through Port Macquarie and Coffs Harbour. More settled in the north, but we did see a few grey skies over the Queensland border, including for Coolangatta with a few showers too. Across the Tweed and Brunswick regions, we have seen about 1 millimetre of rain. We're expecting clearer skies tomorrow, some very warm winter temperatures heading our way. These maximums in the low 20s could reach the mid to high 20s. I'll have that forecast after sport, Nick.
Sounds good, Kirsty. We'll see you soon. Well, up next in 7 News, a popular sporting event eyes a return to the Great Lakes, and a wildlife sanctuary's mission to save an iconic native rodent from extinction.
And a little later on this news hour, a desperate search for a father and son missing after a fishing trip. Fresh contamination fears after chemicals were detected in our drinking supply. An Aussie Olympic cyclist defects to the UK. And we'll remember the man who wrote the book on Talk TV.
Welcome back. It's been 6 years since Foster Tuncurry Golf Club hosted part of the Pro-Am, and this year they're expecting a major cash boost as a result.
Lining up the shot on the local green. It's just 1 week until Tuncurry's long-awaited Pro-Am.
It's an awesome time for us at the club.
It's the first time in 6 years the region has hosted the event.
So August 26th, there'll be a group that go off at 7:15, then a group that go off at 12:15, and there'll be people everywhere.
Player ages range from 18 to 65. Athletes coming from right across the country.
We've got 50 at least of the pros coming, and then we'll probably have somewhere in the 100 amateurs coming as well, plus the visitors and families.
Local businesses are getting involved, excited to hit the course with some of the best golfers in the country.
You get to play, so you put in your team, 1, 2 and 3, and then you get a pro that's going to help out with you on the day. So I think it's just that involvement that you might play with someone that can sort of, make your golf game a bit better up.
The Pro-Am is a circuit-based competition held across multiple clubs statewide. Port Macquarie holding theirs this week. The Tuncurry team are looking forward to the tourism dollars the sporting feature will bring.
Come up and stay for 2 or 3 days, use local accommodation, eat out in local restaurants, so it's a real win-win for everyone.
The night before the event kicks off, the club will hold a shootout with a hefty cash prize up for grabs. Hannah Hartup, 7 News.
The Barrington Tops Wildlife Sanctuary is on a mission to save one of Australia's most iconic native rodents from extinction. The critically endangered broad-toothed rat looks pretty similar to a pygmy wombat. Aussie Ark wanted to use 12 of the animals for a breeding program, but sadly only 6 survived.
We couldn't keep adults because their lifespan is too short. We needed to keep only juveniles to maximise future breeding opportunities within their lifespan.
The sanctuary was pretty pleased to be able to bring 3 males and 3 females back to the Ark. They'll help out with future breeding programs. Up next in sport, day 1 of the Pro-Am Golf hits the fairway in Port Macquarie. And semi-final berths on the line in the Bill Turner Cup. Welcome back. Golf pros from across the country have teed off in Port Macquarie for the first day of the annual Pro-Am. The format gives amateurs a chance to spend a day with some of the country's best.
Big hitters and a wealth of experience. This week, more than 70 of the country's golf pros are playing Port Macquarie's annual Pro-Am event.
We're in our 24th year now, and a great chance for some of our members and visitors from the area to play with some professionals.
Professionals like Nathan Green, who has competed in more than 200 events on the PGA Tour, including a win at the Canadian Open.
I haven't been playing a whole lot this year, so it's actually my first tournament, so it's been a bit tricky, hit a few bad drives, but overall, it's not too bad.
The tournament is a favourite on the Golf Pro calendar, bringing the best back year after year.
Yeah, absolutely. It always attracts a great field, this event, because it's such a great golf course. Been coming here for a lot of years, so it's really good to see.
Two-time winner of the event, Lee McKechnie, also joining the field.
It's good prize money. I said John Hegney and Better Homes have been good sponsors over the years, and we appreciate his support. But I said more or less for me just to come up here, enjoy some sunshine, some warmer weather, and see some old friends.
Plus, there's plenty of local support for Port Macquarie's own pro, James Single.
I'll definitely be trying my hardest. Off to a little slow start just now, and this wind's making life difficult, but see what we can do.
As part of the event, the pros are teamed up with local members and visitors. A great chance to see the best in action and maybe pick up a few tips. Winners will be decided in the final day of the tournament tomorrow. Samantha Crowe, 7 News.
Coffs Harbour's John Paul College has achieved their best result yet in the Bill Turner Cup. Today's narrow 4-3 victory in the round of 16, setting up a girls' quarter-final clash with Port Macquarie's MacKillop College.
Down 1-0 at the start, Coffs Harbour's John Paul College regained control after an early setback for Lindisfarne.
One of our captains was injured at the start. We have to shuffle our D around.
JPC pulling out the stops to get back in the game.
Once we got the flow of it, we're definitely in the zone. Everyone committed together. Passes were on point.
Lindisfarne struggling to capitalise, the locals turning the tables to lead 4-2 going into half-time.
Look, the girls are just really, really good individually. Their touch is incredible and they just know who to play and how to play off. There's a few little set plays that we have, but mainly it's just knowing each other's strengths.
Lindisfarne down but not out, boosting their intensity. JPC beginning to flag late in the second.
The girls started to really feel it in the last 20 minutes or so, last 15 minutes. A few of our key players decided to have some spells off on the bench.
Lindisfarne staging a resurgence down the right-hand side, tucking the ball into the rear corner. Now trailing 4-3 with 10 minutes left on the clock.
Usually when that happens, if you take your foot off the pedal for a second, they'll get an edge and they get back in. And they did well, and if they had to put a fourth goal against us, I wouldn't have been surprised, but we just held on.
Lindisfarne, beaten by the bell, rolled out of contention after 6 straight wins.
To their credit, they wedged us down in our own end in the last 4 minutes and made it hard to get out of there.
John Paul College through to tomorrow's quarter-final playoff against Port Macquarie's MacKillop College.
Oh, we are sharp. We're stoked. It's just been a pearl of a day, and we're just so happy.
Liz Penny, 7 News.
Well, up next in 7 News, Kirsty's back and she's got your local weather forecast, everything you need to know.
Good evening, everyone. We've had shower and storm activity move across parts
of the state in the last 24 hours, and it will continue moving east over the next day or two. Another trough is then forecast to brush the south of the state later in the week, followed by an approaching cold front again from the west and reaching New South Wales as we head into the weekend. Now, most of those systems will carry some rainfall, though the heaviest showers are forecast to the south of the state. Along the coast, through the north, in fact, the entire eastern seaboard looks to remain mostly dry, no more than about 3 to 5 millimetres over the coming week. It is southern parts of our state and crossing into the Victorian border where we're expecting higher rainfall totals of up to 35 millimetres. Along our coast tomorrow, though, temperatures increasing by about 3 to 5 degrees. We are in for an unseasonably warm Wednesday. Tops of 27 for Kempsey, the same for Taree. That's 7 degrees above average. In fact, our December average is 27.8 degrees, so we're well and truly expecting summer-like temperatures. Warm north to northwesterly winds too, and we can see that warmth spreading north. 25 degrees in Coffs Harbour, a top of 26 on the way for Grafton. Taking a look offshore tomorrow, we're expecting northerly winds at 30 knots. That will prompt that strong wind warning to stay in place for tomorrow. A 4 to 6 foot southerly swell right along our coastline and seas as high as 3 metres. Into Thursday, cloud about for parts of the morning, starting to become a little bit unsettled around midday. We could see between 3 and 5 millimetres of rain and the chance of thunderstorms developing, but it's likely to be quite humid thanks to that combination of these warm temperatures and the wet weather. Casino and Grafton jumping to 27, Lismore the same, and a windy day on the way for Byron Bay. By Friday, though, some more settled weather, partly cloudy along the mid-north coast with skies clearing and those temperatures back to the low 20s. Port Macquarie, 24 degrees for our maximum. Byron Bay heading for a top of 23. We are expecting mostly sunny skies, but just a few light showers as we head further north once again. We're certainly in for quite warm weather over the next couple of days tomorrow. Going to be very lovely for this time of year.
We certainly are. I'm not going to say spring has sprung.
No, we're almost just sprung. I mean, summer's almost sprung with 27 degrees.
Let me know when I can say it.
Yeah, okay.
Thanks, Kirsty. And that is your local news for tonight. I'm Nick Hose. Thanks for watching. In just a moment, Dan has your latest national news and international news. Enjoy the rest of your Tuesday evening. Kirsty and I will see you tomorrow night at 6 o'clock. See you then.